In this video, I want to share about what it's like when you have a parent who has an addiction. I've worked with a lot of families. I'm a life coach and social worker. I also live with bipolar, and I've helped many families struggling from addiction. Now, sadly, when you were growing up, your parents are such a huge impact and factor in your life. Your mom and dad are usually the ones that give you support and encouragement and motivation, and when they battle an addiction, it becomes so hard on you, because on the one hand you love them and you look up to them and you want to be like them, and on the other hand you know they have an addiction. Now, part of the problem is it depends on the range of addiction and how serious they look at it. For example, if your mom or dad is doing heroin every day, it's very clear that it's a huge problem and they need to seek help. I would tell you to get them the knowledge and information about how to go to a rehab or a facility. But many parents use other things and they look at it like it's not a big deal. For example, they drink several glasses of wine a night, or they drink beer every day, or they smoke cigarettes, or they do things that do not seem as dangerous. But part of that problem is they still have an addiction, and you have to learn how to tell them you want them to seek help. Go up to them and say, listen, Mom, Dad, I love you. If you continue smoking cigarettes, you're going to die. My own wife lost her mom at a very young age to a cigarette smoking addiction. She described on the last days of her mom's life watching her almost drown because she could no longer breathe. I lost my brother to a heroin addiction. I want to tell you, you have to encourage your family and your parents to stop and end their addiction. But there's an even bigger lesson, because I worked at a rehab facility helping those with addiction, and some would succeed and get their lives on track, and some would go back into the addiction. No one can take away someone else's addiction. When I used to smoke cigarettes every day, many people told me to quit, asked me to quit. It was until I decided I was ready and willing to do the work to change. If your loved one or your parent is dealing with an addiction, you can encourage them and offer them the help, but they need to be the one that goes and seeks the help. They say something about you can only make a horse go to the water, but you cannot make it drink. It's the truth. If your parents do not want to deal with their addiction, it is not up to you. But here's the biggest lesson and gift I can give to you. You have to change what your family behavior is. If everyone in your family was an alcoholic, it does not mean you have to fall into being an alcoholic yourself. If everyone in your family smoked cigarettes, you do not have to smoke cigarettes. If everyone in your family was an opiate addict, you do not have to fall into it. Now, one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned in my life was a story that someone said, hey, everyone in my family was an alcoholic. My mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, my great-grandpa, they all were alcoholics, so I am going to be an alcoholic too. And what the speaker shared was, what if you're the first person in your family line to end the addiction? What if everyone drank and was an alcoholic, but you are the first one to not become an alcoholic? What would that say to your children and to your grandchildren? They would look at their family and say, yeah, we had a lot of alcoholism, but my dad was able to stop that, or my grandpa. I don't have to fall into that addiction. You can be the one person in your family line to change the history. You can be able to say, I'm the one that stopped being an addict, I decided to live in a healthy way, and my family benefited so greatly. One of the best ways to get help is to deal with as much learning as you can. I wrote a great book. It's called Heroin, Depression, and Bipolar, A Guide to Dealing with Mental Health and Addiction. It shares stories and lessons and hope, and if your loved one is facing addiction, you should read the book, find out the information that I share, and hopefully it will inspire you. Maybe you can even give it to your mom and dad, let them read it, let them learn, and maybe they will stop. And if they won't, you need to stop. Don't let yourself fall into addiction, because it's a very dark, dangerous place to be. My little brother died a couple months ago of a heroin overdose, and it was so hard and difficult to deal with that situation. My main goal is to help you know you do not have to fall into these same traps. You can find out, we do a coaching program where we work to help those dealing with these issues. We also do share all the books that I've written. You can learn about them, including the new one about addiction and mental health. It's on the website at bipolaronline.com. That's bipolaronline.com. And please know there is hope. I encourage you to get the information and knowledge so that you can work on your parents, try to help them, and help yourself, because it's the next generation that is so valuable, that can change the world and that can stop living with addiction. So thanks for watching this, and please know I hope your family and you get your life on track. I will pray for you, and thanks for watching this video.